Hello and welcome into today's stream. Today we're not roasting anyone, so there's a disclaimer, but I will be dropping bombs and hints into my next stream. Soon we're talking about a GM product. Hint, Aussies are not safe, that is over clout voids with VMs and the entirety holding group. That's your hint for tomorrow's absolute madman stream. But as of now, let's get stuck into it. The Corvette C8. The. This is the Corvette. That. Zora. Zachary. AKA Zora. The father of Corvette, if you want to call it. Envisioned. But has never got to experience or even see. At the moment, as you can see, we're in this 6-1. Is it just seems fitting. He wanted to see this car. Let's just put that one into consideration. He always wanted to see it. I did last minute change it up. I was thinking of going for one of my other Corvettes, my other C8. I decided to go specifically for the Z06. Because as you can hear, I've got it more acting like a ZR1. This car is the pinnacle of what he wanted that GM never allowed him to make. They said, why should Corvettes be all things? No, why should they be mid-engine? He fought tooth and nail for this car to exist. And it was only after his death that it started to exist. It says a lot about GM, but I'm not here to roast GM and their decision on that, because that would ruin the player. In the end, GM did make it, and they done a beautiful job. This car is perfectly balanced, well executed, and to be honest, it's kicking the ass of a lot of over-expensive modern supercars, which I respect the living shit out of. She was just in time. I mean, she was a bit late to the supercar party, but that late entry put supercars on their heads. And these stupid hypercars that everyone's over-glorified with Corvette engines. Corvette basically said, will you shut the fuck up and stop using my engines to make millions of dollars and abusing them and abusing the market. This was also Chevy's answer to that. But also, it was them looking through the archives of Zora and seeing all the debate and the disputes that he had for this car. And that's where we got this car now. Is it a gorgeous looking thing? Oh, absolutely. Is it following the lines that Zora wanted? Yes, but with a modern twist to it, which I respect the hell out of. GM did not just say, how about we just make something that, with his vision that we want them to look like. They're like, how about we mix some of his original designs and amp them up into the modern day with some of our modern designs. And that's somehow this thing was created. Yeah, I know a lot of people are shitting on the C8 right now as we speak, but why are you shitting on the car that the father of Corvette always wanted? He would be most likely looking up there, seeing these things demolishing shit like Ferraris and Lambos, and laughing his ass off as he does so. Does that say on how much this car has to offer still? G'day, sure. But yeah, so, the Corvette C8, the Corvette C7. These are things that he wanted to see before he passed away, but mostly the C8, because this mid-engine layout is perfect for this LS. And he's also, by Chevy doing this, they didn't just put Chevy back in it. They didn't put the Corvette as a supercar as such. They did, but they also done it as a respect and tribute to Zora, or Zachary, depends on how you pronounce it. I personally call him the father of Corvette, because without his bold move of telling GM all that, to give him funding to at least make that C1, which for its time was made fun of, still is, but if it wasn't for that inline 6 Corvette that he whipped up, we wouldn't have had the C1 V8 either. Yeah, the originals of cars never start off as perfect as they get. That's just the cars. They never start off absolutely perfect. Name me a car that starts off perfect. You can try to list that one down in the comments and I'll be able to tell you the flaws. To this day, is Corvettes perfect? No, but they are sure damn fucking close to it. Especially this mid-engine layout, and the fact that you can get supercharged ones with over 1,000 horsepower from factory. That's going up there and looking at Bugattis and going, you're next. Yeah, that says a lot, doesn't it? They're not just aiming to beat people in Fords, Dodges anymore. They're looking at Lamborghinis as their next victims. They're looking at Bugattis as prey. They're not sitting there sticking to sports cars with this thing. This has opened up a new can of worms that GM is been utilizing since the C8 came out. With that, I say, is Zora's idea a success? Does it work? Does Zora's idea work into the success? Abso-fucking-lutely. He was ahead of his time, that lad. To be honest, he's not just a lad. He's a Chad that was so far ahead of his time that GM had to tame him down. But then they looked at it, realized people were using their engines, and was like, you know what? This is not how we're going to shut up these fake supercar and hypercar boys. Where they make an over-glorified fucking Corvette. Why not let's just take Zora's lady and bring it to life and shut them up? So GM did just that. Yeah, a lot of purists say that this is not a Corvette. Like, fuck it's not. This is more of a Corvette than your little C6 and your C7. Because this is exactly what Zora wanted. He didn't want it front engine. He always dreamed of a mid-engine Corvette that was gapping supercars and hypercars. Well, back then, supercars, because hypercars didn't exist when he started making the 60s. His envision was not just taking on the domestic market for these things. No. He didn't just want to take on stuff like Dodges, stuff like that. Because they're also hitting themselves in the face. He was also hitting Camaros where it hurts. He didn't want to just keep attacking the one thing, which was the muscle cars and the sports cars anymore. Well, mostly he was attacking the front-engine sports cars, and at that time, a lot of front-engine sports cars went mid-engine and started becoming supercars. He had an envision to take on Porsche. This thing is taking on Porsche wearing that same name, that same badging that he physically wanted it to do. And it's not just fucking taking them on, it's absolutely wiping them off the fucking map. 911s are getting their asses kicked. Fucking Ford GT's actually getting ready to get its ass kicked. Now, what do I want to see Chevy do with this? Make a Z06 or the newer ZR1, amp it up for fucking Le Mans. That thing would not just wipe the dirt off the fuck, would not just wipe Ferrari out of the game, it would wipe the dust out of fucking Ford's legacy. It would wipe Ford's GT fucking, the new GT fucking 40, well, not 40, but the new Ford GT off the map. A fucking mid-engine Corvette in Le Mans would be fucking mental. These things handle like crazy. These things grip like a bitch. These things go like anything. They're taking on supercars as is, and let's be honest, the ZR1X and the ZR1 is not a supercar. That is stepping into fucking hypercar territory and starting to laugh at the big boys themselves. For a quarter of the price of a Bugatti, you've got a Corvette rocking around about the same amount of power from fucking factory. And because Corvette has already got that menacing name from the ZR1 wiping the crap out of Lamborghinis and shit, the ZR1 C8 is going to enhance that. I know I've been fucking up with the driving, that's why I've been rewinding this a bit, but what do you think, guys? Is this the thing that you've always wanted to see, or are you one of those fanboys, or you, well, not fanboys, or are you one of those type of people that enjoy the rear-wheel drive front-engine Corvettes? Me personally, I like Zora's idea. It's a beautiful blend, and it shut up its stupid wannabe hypercars and supercar guys. You know what we're talking about, those stupid fucking manufacturers that say, oh yeah, we're rocking 3,000 horsepower. Pop the hood, it's a fucking LS6. GM saw that. GM saw freaking Zora's potential as a thing that is needed, and sat there and said, let's do it. Fuck it. Corvette, go fucking crazy with this thing. Don't let loose. We want to shut up. We want to be supercar and hypercar boys. Join the supercar scene and fucking laugh at it. And what has happened? The fucking Corvettes, the Corvettes are doing just that. Especially the Z06, like, these things are fucking crazy cars. They have no filters. They're just tamed beasts waiting to be unleashed. But the ZR1s and the ZR1X takes that shit and says, unleash the beast. We're showing you what we can do. And as soon as they started showing what they can do, every hypercar fanboy around the world is starting to get nervous. Because finally GM has said enough is enough. With that, this car is the middle finger to all those fucking Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Paganis, Bugattis out there. The C8 is the middle finger that bloody Chevy has in their arsenal, and they have released that middle finger. They said, fine, you just want to fuck around with our engines? Some of these fucking newbies want to rock around with our engines and try to that you made. That you made that car from scratch, didn't use our engines and shit like that. Fuck you, we're giving you the middle finger. I know I shouldn't be swearing too much because this is my afternoon stream, but let's be real. This is exactly what this is. It's the middle finger to those who said Corvette could not be anything more than a sports car. GM looked at that, GM laughed at that, GM brand Zora's idea to life, and turned these bloody already mental freaking goddamn cars that are entering supercar territory to pure blood freaking supercars as a whole. Let's be real. Let's be serious. If it wasn't for Zora's idea, we probably wouldn't have this car to begin with. Chevy would be running up and down, trying to figure out what the hell to do. But because Zora had this sitting in fucking Corvette's archives long after he passed away, because he left it there. It was like, maybe one day they will use it. Maybe one day my ahead of designs, my design that is ahead of time, might come to light. And did it ever come out? Did it ever make a fucking storm of an entrance? Off the get-go, this car turned so many heads in the right direction at GM was like, GM had no choice but to release it after they launched the prototype. Why is that? Everyone fell in love with it almost immediately. Yeah, sure, some people are still critics. We've still got the haters today. But honestly, those haters don't realize exactly what this is targeting and exactly what this thing is capable of. The freaking C8s are taking on hybrid supercars. The E-Road, absolutely wiping them off the fucking map. Going up to the full-blood petrol supercars like Lamborghini Revoltos and Lamborghini Hurricanes and shit like that. Audi R8. That's what the Corvette Stingray's for. Those more entry to mid-level supercar. Oh, not take away the Revolta, that's not a mid-entry supercar. But the Stingray is there taking on shit like your precious Lamborghini Hurricanes or your fucking Ferraris that Ferrari allows basically anyone to buy. The Z06. Oh no, that's for the Revoltos. That's for the fucking stuff like that. You're getting into those real high-end, almost hypercar territories. The ZR1? Oh, that's a whole new motherfucking animal. That thing is taking on Hennessy Venom F5s, fucking Bugatti Chiron Super Sport, or the Pure Sport. That thing is taking on hypercars. And the middle finger to someone like Koenigsegg? That's the ZR1X. That's aimed directly for them super heavyweight contestants. That's the take on his speed records. That's there to try to take on the world records for production vehicles. And honestly, it's not too far off from succeeding all of that. That is what I am so amazed about when they said, this is the next type of Corvette, and we're not playing light. Chevy has started going up to people like Bugatti and all that and saying, hold my fucking beer. The GOAT has entered the chat. The original American supercar. Well, sports car. Let me just take the gloves off and become a supercar and a fucking hypercar. But shall we? They did just that. And absolutely just told the competition, get fucking wrecked. We're here to stay. You can analyze this and analyze that. we're not going anywhere regardlessly on what you say. And I completely butchered that. But that's because I had this car out of the league. Anyway, like what I was saying, this car is definitely something of its own. It's got sports cars in its lineup, they've got supercars. Fucking Chevy has gone ballistic missile fucking predator mode and started making these things as damn hypercars. Let's just get that into consideration here, ladies and gentlemen. These cars have gone from being a entry-level to mid-range sports car over the years to a high-range, high-class fucking sports car on a budget. A budget supercar that's beaten the heavyweights, and a fucking budget hypercar that is completely laughing at stuff like Ferraris and Pagani's, and even Bugattis, and starting to hunt down Koenigseggs. Like, I know there's Koenigsegg fanboys out there that's probably watching, and this is what I have to say as a warning to you about this car. The demon has unleashed. The beast has been unshackled. You better watch your fucking asses with these things. Stop mocking Corvette. Zora is sitting there laughing, watching these fucking hypercars. He's watching the hypercars get fucking destroyed. He's laughing at supercars getting demolished by Vette. This is what he envisioned the Corvette to do. Not just beat little petty Mustangs and fucking Chargers and Challengers and fucking small like BMWs. He said, yeah, that's fun and all, but we need something that can take on Lamborghini. We need something to take on Le Mans. He was envisioning a Vette in Le Mans and see what the fuck that would do. And what has it done? Well, we're gonna fucking find out when Chevy actually does do that. Honestly, if Chevy does that, I am going to sit back and watch a fucking Corvette while holding a beer in my hand beat Ferrari and Ford at the game that Ferrari made Ford enter.
Arrived at your destination.
Let's just put that in consideration. The fact on Chevy might be entering Le Mans. I mean, well, they already have Corvettes. They've already had Corvettes in Le Mans. My dad, the ZR1, the fucking C7s, the C6s, those things were fucking overkill in their cars. But they were not beating the Ferraris. They were not beating Fords. Ford and Ferrari were still laughing their asses off at them and selling Chevy to give up. This is going to be the answer to those mid-engined assholes. This is the answer. Unless if they've already introduced them in. If they've already introduced them in, most likely that's the reason why Ford had to edge up the fucking Ford GT Le Mans car last year. That's probably the reason why they done it. Is because these things have just been straight up fucking abusing them. Le Mans watchers down below, please tell me if the Corvettes have actually been kicking the shit out of fucking Ford and Ferrari. Because that Ford v Ferrari rivalry has a new fucking entry in it. And that entry is fucking Chevy. With these absolute monster of a cars. And as for Zora, well, he's probably pissed himself laughing in heaven watching everyone get demolished by the car he said would do just that. You see it in fucking drag racing. You see it in racing all the time. You see it even on the road, these fucking highway pools. Little boys and their fucking Mustangs and shit doing highway pulls, and a fucking Corvette just says fucking see ya. I'll leave you fucking next week. I'll leave you in motherfucking next week. When it comes to the point where you're doing that, and you're just cruising, and you see, just so happen to see highway pulls and fucking come in just to humiliate a pair of the ones that's fucking thought of it, started doing it, and wanting to see who's faster out of the two, and you're just coming up out of nowhere as that fucking assassin with a fucking goddamn scalpel. It makes those daggers look terrible. Yeah, you're going up against fucking daggers with a damn scalpel and winning. I know a lot of Ford boys and Dodge boys already hate me, especially the Dodge from my last stream, but I'm putting this down and I'm putting my fucking money on it. Line up against the C8, you stupid Hellcat. Your Hellcat is loud. This thing is lighter, this thing is faster, it's more aerodynamic, it's not like trying to drive a boat. It's a proper, even the sports cars of the C8 is like driving a fucking surgical blade. It's like driving a fucking scalpel and nailing everything. Yeah, they've gone to the 7 or 8-speed transmissions nowadays. That's just made them more of a lethal fucking weapon on the road. It hasn't tamed them down, it hasn't held them back. It's made them more of a fucking... It's made them more of a fucking weapon, my guys. These things are a lethal weapon in the right hands. If you know how to drive this thing and your mate knows on how to drive his car, you're winning regardlessly, because these things are fucking psychotic. Chevy just said straight to Corvette with a bunch of money, you know what, go nuts. Here's Zora's design, here's Zora's ideas, here's Zora's designs, modernize, let's make this thing even more mental than he could imagine. Go nuts. GM told them, do whatever the fuck you like with Zora's idea. And they came up with this. I mean, even the road-going Corvette, the interior, it looks like a fucking Le Mans car. They said yes to more everything, other than shit design.
Hey, you made it to a stunt party. Just sign up, get ready, and we will find a space for you.
Let's just put that in the bloody mix, shall we? This thing is a fucking missile at everything it comes towards. But please, for those who watch Le Mans and those who watch the 12 hours and the other 24-hour races, has Corvette actually entered this thing in? Has this thing absolutely kicked the livid shit out of Fords and Ferraris? Because Ford for years has mocked fucking the Corvette. Said the fucking Ford GT would kick its ass. Especially, you know, on tracks and stuff like that. And Ferrari, they haven't even seen them as an opponent. But since the C8's come along, I mean, Ferrari's been there quiet. A little too quiet. I think they might have realised that they have a formidable opponent other than Ford. Because as we know, Ford and Ferrari has been slugging it out for years, and now Ford's starting to enter the high class. Has Chevy already entered that chat? Also, while at it, guys, talking to this topic, what is your favourite Corvettes? What is your favourite Corvette generation? I want to hear it. I'm not here to roast the Corvettes today. I'm here to praise them. I'm here to praise Zora. So what is your favourite Corvette? Because I know there are some solid picks from the Corvette community out there. Let's start off with mine. My personal favourite is the C6 and C8 ranges. The C6, especially that fucking ZR1, was an absolute menace. And then they wrapped the ZR1 nameplates in this fucking goddamn C8s and said, you know what, let's slap that bitch with around about 1,000 horsepower. No, not around about. They said, let's slap that bitch with 1,000 horsepower. And then the ZR1X, okay, that's like 1,500 horsepower or some shit like that. You already know they're entering that fucking hypercar game with that thing. They're just not holding back. That alone, my main pick has to be the Corvette. The C8's Corvette ZR1, ZR1X, because that's the middle finger to supercars and hypercars. That's simply Corvette telling them to shut the fuck up. What's yours, Chad? As I'm very curious, let's pull up and let's have a chat on our favourite Corvettes. What we love about them and what we feel that could be an improvement. Honestly, I have nothing for these new ZR1s as an improvement, because they are fucking overkill. No, by the way, chat, I have not changed up the engines of any of my Corvettes. They're still rocking their factory engines. All that I've done is either add a supercharger or turbo to them and modify them. I know this is more of the softer thing compared to you're used to hearing me absolutely roast it, but there's nothing to roast about the Corvette. In my personal opinion, you can't roast the Corvette. Other than probably the C196, but even then you can't roast it, because without that we wouldn't have these. But if you're coming in for the roasting sessions, that's going to be a bit later on tonight. I've got a juicy one installed. tomorrow's Maniac one, I'm hitting well and truly below the belt to Australia. And trying to wake up the overpraised fucking Holden. That's still think Holden's alive. So definitely be on the lookout for that one tomorrow if you want some hard roasts that even hits home to me as, may I say, disclaimer, I have 2 Holdens in the yard. I have one in the driveway, I have one in the front yard. Which that thumbnail that you would end up seeing was posted and go live, thumbnail for that will literally be the VE in the yard that is pretty banged up. So yeah, if you're looking out for a hardcore roast session, this is not it. Afternoons, I don't do the roasts. Afternoons are usually my more respectful ones. Maybe a couple of jabs here and there, like as you've heard about me taking jabs at Ferrari and Ford. Because, well, Corvette has basically said screw you two. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm going to see you in the next one. Remember, leave down in the comments below your favorite generation Corvette, anything that you want to see from the Corvettes, anything at all you want to see. Until then,